Let's talk a little hockey this morning. The Toronto Maple Leafs in Seattle last night, rounding out a 4-game road trip.
Vancouver. Leafs now with 94. Point a chance in front, scores! And
Austin Matthews opened the scoring with the 38th goal of the season. Nick Robertson then put the Leafs up by 2. Now, Seattle did cut the lead to 1, but then Jake McCabe sealed the game in the third period with an empty netter, giving Toronto a 3-1 win. Okay, well, now that we are, of course, really at the midpoint of the NHL season, what should be the top priority on the agenda for the Toronto Maple Leafs? We're going to pose that question right now to former Maple Leafs player and the co-host of the Leafs Morning Take, Jay Rosehill. Jay, good to talk to you this morning. Appreciate you joining us. So what are your thoughts or assessment of the Leafs at this midway point of the season, and what do they need to do to perhaps, I suppose, go further in the playoffs this year?
Yeah, I think consistency is a key with them. The distance between their good hockey and their bad hockey is so large that it makes it difficult to get any type of consistency going. And I think going into the trade deadline, Tree Living's going to be looking for some defensemen. I think that's the biggest gap in their game right now. As you can see, they're fantastic at scoring goals, got some of the best in the world at that. But we need to keep the puck out of our net a little bit more. I think they'll be looking for some of that come trade deadline.
So D is definitely one thing, Jay. But what about actually in net? I mean, we're kind of in this flux where, it's just been so much inconsistency between the pipes.
Yeah, I mean, Samsonov struggled like no other. He had a little reset there going on waivers, and one of his first games back yesterday, he looked absolutely fantastic, got us a win. So you could see him being on his way to coming back. And Joseph Woll's a young talent, and all signs point to him being a goalie that can really be the face of this organization down the future. But we run into injuries and whatnot. Mm-hmm. You get your third string coming in there. He's bailed us out too. I really believe defense is where we need to shore up more than goaltending, but it's going to be interesting coming trade deadline on what Tree Living does.
It really is. And Jay, one thing that's really struck me about this team this year, particularly recently, is the blown leads, right? I mean, on the road trip there, they kind of solidified some wins, which was good to see, but they had 4 straight games where they either had 1, 2, or 3 goal leads and blew them. And after the game, Sheldon Keefe, the head coach, sort of seemed perplexed and sort of like, I don't know what's going on here. What do you make of that? That, he's the head coach and he doesn't even kind of understand what's happening with his team on the ice sometimes.
Yeah, it can be frustrating. I mean, this team tends to do that. They're very high octane on the offensive side of things. We can put the puck in the net for sure, but it seems like they have a one-track mind of just thinking about offense. And when they get those leads, they don't tend to change their game and keep it to the outside, chip it off the glass, get it deep, protect the puck. They seem to still play that run and gun style, which blows up in their face a lot of the time. And to me, that's a preparation thing. It's a leadership thing, and it's a maturity thing. And halfway point in the season is come and gone. Now they need to start figuring out who they are in a hurry.
Yeah, it's interesting. We were having a conversation with AJ Cebulski from Buffalo talking about the Bills and how the Bills have been a really great regular season team, but in the playoffs the last few years, they've really been snake bitten. Similar story for the Maple Leafs. Is it, we often hear the word sandpaper, toughness, grit, determination. When Tree Living is sort of looking at the market here, who stands out to you as somebody who could bring that? Because really, regular season, we know the Leafs are going to make the playoffs, but it's getting over the hump is the key for them.
Yeah, for sure. It is a different game in playoffs. It's a different game. You see it every year. And you look at a team like the Florida Panthers last year who really came together and had an identity of playing that really gritty hockey where everyone's on the same page, willing to go through a wall to get that win. And, the Leafs don't really have that right now. They, like I said, high octane offense, very talented players, but, you can't play street hockey in the playoffs. You can't stay to the outside. You can't get yourself into the fight. You're not going to win a lot of games there. And, you look in Calgary, Chris Tanev's a defenseman that I think they've got their eye on. If you can add some bodies of guys that are willing to play the right way, and if that can rub off on some of the other players, I think they desperately need that in the playoffs.
Jay, really quickly here. We only have about 30 seconds. What's it like as a player playing in Toronto, knowing all this pressure is on the team to sort of make that next step?
Yeah, there's no organization like it. You talk to guys that have played it. You're right in the center of the hub with the spotlight on you. It's a wonderful thing at times, but when you're driving to that rink, you really feel that electricity. After the game practice, you can't even get to your stall. There's so much media in there. Mm-hmm. Everything is scrutinized. You're under a microscope, so makes it a little bit difficult to play, and I think it makes it a little bit difficult to win, but there's also no experience like it, so those guys got to enjoy it, but find a way to get over the hump, no question.
Take the good with the bad, indeed. Well, this has been a great conversation. Leafs Morning Take podcast, Jay Rosehill. Great to talk to you, Jay. Thanks for the time this morning.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Appreciate this, yeah.